The Stalker. I was 16, and it was spring break. My friends, let's call them Evan and Jake, and I decided to do something reckless, something we'd laugh about later: rent a sketchy hotel for the night. We found one that looked like it hadn't seen a renovation since the 80s. The air inside was stale, carrying a faint stench of mildew and something else I couldn't quite place, but we shrugged it off. We were teenagers, nothing scared us back then. It was around 3 p.m. when we got to our room, and the first thing we wanted to do was hit the pool. It was in a separate building, just a short walk across the parking lot. But as we approached, a man, tall, at least 6 feet 3 inches, dressed in all black with a hood obscuring his face, stood at the entrance, facing us like he was waiting. His presence was unsettling, like he was more shadow than man. I felt a twinge of fear but tried to brush it off. It was broad daylight, after all. We passed him, ignoring the way his head seemed to follow us. We spent a couple of hours splashing around, racing each other in the pool, and for a while, I almost forgot about him. But then, as I floated on my back, I noticed him again. The man in black was sitting in one of the pool chairs, motionless, watching us. I swallowed hard, feeling my heart race. Can I help you, sir?" I called out, trying to sound braver than I felt. No response. Just silence, and that blank, hooded face turned my way. Trying to shake it off, I dunked my head underwater, needing a moment to collect myself. That's when I saw it. Another figure, dressed in all black, submerged at the bottom of the pool, just lying there. My stomach dropped. I shot out of the water, screaming, scrambling to the edge. But when I looked back, the pool was empty, no man on the chair, no figure at the bottom. Nothing. Evan and Jake stared at me like I'd lost my mind. "You're just seeing things," Jake said with a dismissive laugh, but I knew what I saw. The unease was crawling under my skin, so I suggested we get dinner, hoping to shake the feeling. We found a nearby restaurant and settled in. But as we sat down, I felt it again, that prickling sensation at the back of my neck. I looked up, and there he was, the man in black, sitting at a distant table, his face still hidden but angled right at me. I'd had enough. I got up, determined to confront him, but as I approached, he vanished between the tables like a wisp of smoke. My friends thought I was being paranoid, and maybe I was. But I couldn't shake the feeling that he was always there, lurking just out of sight. By the time we got back to the hotel, I was done. I told Evan and Jake that we should leave in the morning, but they weren't having it. We crashed around 10:30, exhausted. I must have been asleep for a couple of hours when I woke to faint noises, like shuffling footsteps. In the dark, I saw a shadow at the foot of my bed. My heart skipped a beat, but I tried to calm myself down, convincing myself it was just my hat hanging on the bedpost. I closed my eyes, but the noises didn't stop. I finally sat up, feeling a parched dryness in my throat. I reached under the bed, fumbling for my water bottle, but my fingers grasped something soft instead. I pulled it out, my hat. My heart froze. The shadow was still there. It wasn't my hat at all. I turned on my phone's flashlight, and there they were, 2 men in black, standing at the foot of my bed, faces hidden but eyes glinting under their hoods. Before I could react, one of them lunged at me, his hand clamping over my mouth. I thrashed and kicked, but it was useless. A cold voice whispered in my ear, "You're a bitch." I fought, but they overpowered me, dragging me off the bed and out of the room. My screams were muffled by the thick, gloved hand, and everything started to blur. The last thing I remember is feeling a sharp pain, then darkness. I woke up on a stretcher, my stomach burning like it was on fire. A doctor leaned over me, her face a mix of relief and concern. "You were lucky," she said. "They stabbed you, but someone called for help just in time." I tried to ask about the men, but she shook her head. They'd vanished, like ghosts. No one had caught them. To this day, I sleep with a nightlight. I keep my doors locked, double-checking every time. And whenever I feel that prickling sensation on the back of my neck, I wonder if they're still out there, watching.